What started as another normal week for Rick Ross has suddenly turned into a situation that nobody expected. Just when people thought the drama had finally slowed down, another unexpected twist appeared. And this time, fans are saying things might be getting even worse. Social media is full of questions. New rumors are spreading every day, and people are trying to figure out what's really happening behind the scenes. While some believe this is just another internet controversy, others think there could be much bigger problems coming. Today we're breaking down everything that has happened so far, why everyone is talking about it, and what this latest turn could mean for Rick Ross moving forward. Let's get into it. Rick Ross has spent years building one of the biggest names in hip-hop. From hit songs to successful business ventures, he has always found a way to stay relevant. Even when critics doubted him, he usually managed to bounce back stronger than before. But over the last few months, things have been different. Instead of making headlines for new music or business success, Rick Ross has repeatedly found himself in the middle of controversy. Every time it looks like the situation is calming down, something new happens that pulls him right back into the spotlight. And that's exactly what's happening again. Fans first noticed that conversations surrounding Rick Ross started becoming much more negative online. People weren't talking about albums or performances anymore. Instead, everyone seemed focused on the latest controversy. Videos discussing the situation quickly started going viral. Comment sections exploded with opinions. Some people defended Rick Ross. Others believed the criticism was deserved. And as the debate continued, the story only became bigger. One reason this situation has attracted so much attention is because Rick Ross has always projected confidence. Throughout his career, he built an image of success, wealth, and power. Whether it was luxury cars, massive homes, or expensive jewelry, Rick Ross consistently presented himself as someone who couldn't be shaken by outside criticism. But recent events have made some fans wonder if that image is starting to crack. Every new headline seems to create even more questions. Instead of ending the conversation, each update adds another layer to the story. That's why people are paying such close attention. Social media has also played a huge role. Within minutes of new information appearing online, thousands of users begin sharing clips, screenshots, and opinions. Some posts receive millions of views. Reaction channels immediately upload videos. Fans begin creating theories. And before long, the entire internet is discussing the same topic. This creates a cycle where the story grows larger every single day. Even small developments suddenly become major news. What's interesting is that many people aren't even sure which rumors are true and which ones aren't. As often happens online, speculation spreads much faster than confirmed information. One person posts a theory. Someone else repeats it. Another account shares it as if it's already proven. Soon enough, thousands of people believe something without knowing where it originally came from. That's why it's important to separate facts from speculation. At this point, there are still many unanswered questions. Another reason people are paying attention is Rick Ross's history of public rivalries. Over the years, he has never been afraid to speak his mind. He's been involved in disagreements with several artists. Sometimes those situations ended quickly. Other times, they became major stories in hip-hop. Because of that history, fans naturally expect drama whenever Rick Ross's name starts trending. This latest situation feels different, though. Many people believe the stakes are much higher this time. Industry insiders have also started commenting. Some believe Rick Ross simply needs to ignore the noise and focus on his career. Others think staying silent could allow rumors to spread even further. Either way, everyone seems to agree on one thing. The next move will be extremely important. One wrong decision could make the situation even worse. Meanwhile, fans remain divided. Supporters argue that celebrities constantly face unfair criticism and that people rush to judgment before knowing all the facts. Critics argue that public figures must accept accountability when controversies arise. Both sides continue debating online every single day, and neither side appears ready to back down. As more people join the conversation, media coverage continues growing. Entertainment websites publish updates. YouTube creators release reaction videos. Podcasts discuss possible outcomes. Social media influencers give their opinions. Every platform has become part of the discussion. The result is constant attention surrounding Rick Ross. Another factor making this story bigger is uncertainty. Nobody knows exactly what happens next. Will Rick Ross respond publicly? Will new information emerge? Will the controversy slowly disappear? Or is this only the beginning of a much larger situation? Right now, nobody can answer those questions with certainty. That's exactly why people continue following every update. For Rick Ross, reputation has always been one of his biggest assets. Building a successful career takes years. Protecting that reputation can be even harder. One major controversy can sometimes overshadow years of success. Many celebrities have experienced this before. That's why every public appearance, interview, and social media post becomes incredibly important during moments like these. Fans analyze every word. Every reaction becomes another headline. Every silence creates new speculation. At this stage, the biggest challenge may not even be the controversy itself. Instead, it may be controlling the narrative. Once public opinion starts moving in different directions, it becomes incredibly difficult to change people's minds. Some viewers have already decided what they believe. Others are still waiting for more information. Until clearer facts emerge, the conversation will likely continue growing. One thing is certain. Rick Ross is once again at the center of one of the biggest discussions in hip-hop. Whether this situation eventually fades away or becomes something much larger remains to be seen. But based on everything happening so far, this story is far from over. And if recent developments are any indication, another unexpected twist could arrive at any moment. As the conversation continued to spread online, one thing became clear. People weren't just reacting to headlines anymore. They were reacting to each other's opinions. Every new post sparked thousands of comments. Some fans believed Rick Ross was being unfairly criticized, while others argued that public figures should always expect intense scrutiny. The debate quickly became less about one specific event and more about how celebrities are judged in today's social media world. One interesting thing about situations like this is how quickly information moves. Within minutes, clips from interviews, old social media posts, and past public appearances can start circulating again. Content creators begin connecting different moments from the past, sometimes creating theories that sound convincing even when there isn't enough evidence to support them. That's why it's important to separate confirmed facts from online speculation. So far, many of the discussions surrounding Rick Ross have been driven by opinions rather than official statements. Until reliable information becomes available, it's difficult to know exactly what is happening behind the scenes. Even so, the attention surrounding him continues to grow. Another reason this story has remained popular is Rick Ross's long career in the music industry. He's been part of hip-hop for many years, and whenever someone with that level of fame trends online, millions of people immediately become interested. Fans remember his biggest albums. They remember his collaborations. They remember past rivalries and public moments. Because of that history, almost every headline involving Rick Ross attracts significant attention. Meanwhile, entertainment channels and podcasts continue discussing possible outcomes. Some believe the controversy will eventually fade away as new stories replace it. Others think Rick Ross may choose to address the situation publicly through an interview or social media. For now, no one knows what his next move will be. That uncertainty is one of the biggest reasons people keep checking for updates. The internet rarely waits for confirmed information. Instead, people often fill in the gaps with their own assumptions. Those assumptions can spread extremely fast, making it difficult for audiences to distinguish between verified reporting and personal opinion. This is something we've seen happen many times, not just with Rick Ross, but with many well-known artists and celebrities. One trending post can influence thousands of conversations. One viral clip can change public perception. And one misunderstood statement can become the biggest topic online. For Rick Ross, the challenge now isn't just dealing with public attention. It's making sure that any response he gives is clear and doesn't create even more confusion. Public image matters, especially in the entertainment industry. Every interview, every appearance, every social media post can influence how audiences view the situation. Supporters continue encouraging patience, saying people should wait for verified information before reaching conclusions. Critics, on the other hand, argue that public figures should be transparent whenever questions arise. Both viewpoints continue fueling the discussion. As more creators upload videos and share opinions, the story keeps evolving. Some updates add useful context, while others simply repeat earlier claims without introducing anything new. That's why viewers should approach every new headline carefully. At this point, one thing is obvious. The conversation surrounding Rick Ross is far from over. Whether this situation eventually disappears or develops into something larger will depend on future events and any confirmed information that becomes available. For now, fans can only watch and wait to see what happens next. As more time passed, the discussion surrounding Rick Ross showed no signs of slowing down. Instead, the story became an example of how quickly online conversations can grow, even when there are still many unanswered questions. One of the biggest factors in situations like this is public perception. Once a topic starts trending, people naturally begin forming opinions. Some rely on verified reporting, while others react to short clips or social media posts that may not tell the full story. That difference often leads to completely different conclusions. For Rick Ross, every public move is now being watched closely. Fans pay attention to every interview. Every post on social media is analyzed. Even small comments can become headlines within minutes. That's the reality of being a high-profile artist in today's entertainment industry. Many music analysts believe that the best approach during moments like these is to stay focused on facts rather than speculation. While rumors can spread quickly, they don't always reflect what is actually happening. History has shown that celebrity controversies often go through the same pattern. First, a headline appears. Then social media reacts. Content creators begin sharing opinions. More theories start circulating. Eventually, official information becomes available, giving audiences a clearer picture of what actually happened. Until that point, it's important to avoid treating rumors as confirmed facts. Rick Ross has built a career that spans many years. During that time, he's experienced both major successes and public criticism. Like many artists, he's had to navigate changing public opinion while continuing to focus on his music and business ventures. Whether this latest wave of attention has a lasting impact will depend largely on what happens next. Some fans believe the conversation will gradually fade as new stories dominate the news cycle. Others think Rick Ross may eventually choose to respond directly, helping clarify any misunderstandings and address the questions being asked online. For now, though, there are still more questions than answers. One thing is certain. Audiences remain interested because they want reliable information, not just speculation. As this story continues to develop, it's worth remembering that online discussions can change rapidly. New facts can emerge, earlier assumptions can be corrected, and public opinion can shift almost overnight. That's why it's always best to wait for confirmed information before drawing final conclusions. For Rick Ross, the coming days and weeks could be important. Whether he speaks publicly or lets events unfold naturally, his next steps are likely to shape how this story is remembered. And that's why so many people continue following every update. As we reach the end of this story, one question still remains. What happens next for Rick Ross? Right now, nobody can answer that with complete certainty. The music industry moves fast, and public conversations can change overnight. A story that dominates headlines today may be replaced by something completely different tomorrow. That is why it's important to focus on confirmed information instead of rumors. Throughout his career, Rick Ross has faced criticism, public debates, and challenges, yet he has continued releasing music and expanding his business ventures. Like many artists with long careers, he's experienced both highs and lows in the public eye. Whether this latest wave of attention has any long-term impact will depend on several factors. First, how the situation develops. Second, whether any new verified information becomes available. And finally, how fans respond over time. One thing that often happens in celebrity news is that the internet reacts immediately, while the full story usually takes much longer to become clear. Social media rewards speed, but accuracy often comes later. That's why audiences should always be careful about believing every headline they see. Over the past few years, we've seen many public figures become the center of viral discussions. In some cases, early reports turned out to be incomplete. In others, later information changed how people viewed the entire situation. The lesson is simple. Waiting for reliable facts is always the better approach. For Rick Ross, his next public appearance, interview, music release, or official statement could influence how this conversation moves forward. Fans will undoubtedly be paying close attention to whatever comes next. At the same time, many supporters believe the focus should eventually return to his music and career rather than ongoing online speculation. Others argue that public discussions are simply part of being a major celebrity. No matter which side people are on, one thing is clear: Rick Ross remains one of the most talked about names in hip-hop. As this story continues to evolve, we'll have to wait and see what officially happens next. Until then, it's best to separate facts from opinions and avoid jumping to conclusions before all the information is available. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss future updates on the biggest stories in hip-hop and entertainment. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But remember to keep the discussion respectful and based on verified information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you